Welcome all you guys to this session on content marketing in 2016. So we're going to be discussing how we can ace content marketing this year, be absolutely successful at it. All right, so without wasting any more time, I'm going to get started. So this is what we're going to be covering today. Right, this is the agenda. We're going to be starting with what exactly 10x content is. Right, what do we mean when we say 10x content? Right, why do we need to create 10x content? How can you create it? What tools can you use? What tips you could possibly use in creation? And then we'll move on to content amplification, which is basically promoting your content, distributing it across platforms. How do you do this effectively? Why it is essential? Why do you need to do this? And how do you do this effectively, right? We'll also share a good number of amplification strategies which you can use to effectively promote your content and increase your search rankings, increase your traffic, and also produce business results. We'll also run through a couple of case studies where these tactics and these strategies have been used and have shown results. I will also show you results that have been produced using these strategies. Right, so let's get started with the first one that we have there, which is what exactly is 10x content? Right, what do you mean when you say 10x content? So this is a relatively new term in the content marketing industry. I'd say it's a new buzzword. It had been around a couple of years ago, but was not so mainstream. Recently, a few months ago, sometime in May, the founder of Moz, his name is Rand Fishkin, he come up with this term on one of his videos that he does every week. They're called Whiteboard Friday. Those of you who are really interested can just Google for 10x content Whiteboard Friday later on and check out what he had to say. That's when this term kind of became the buzzword for content marketers. Right? So the definition is right there for you. It says content that is 10 times better than the best result that can currently be found in search results for any given keyword phrase or topic. Right? To put that simply, it means that for any topic, content that is 10 times better than any other content on the World Wide Web. Okay, any content that you find, let's say you choose a topic, and the content that you create on that topic should be 10 times better than any other content out there. That's a simple definition of 10x content. Right? So now we're going to see why do we need to create this? Right? Why do we require that our content is 10 times better than any content out there? Why is it even necessary? Isn't it enough to just do what we are currently doing? Isn't it enough to just produce content at a good frequency, produce good content at a good frequency and expect our content marketing efforts to generate results? Well, not really. Let's look at why we really need to do this. This is something we all know, right? All of us here, we all know content is king. This has been around for years now. We all know content is what works across channels on the World Wide Web, on the internet, online, digital. Content is what works, irrespective of what channel you use, whether it's social media, whether it's blog, right? Content is what works. Content is king. This is something, it's a given, it's a bare basic. Okay. We also know that content marketing produces results. As you guys can see from the statistics I pulled up for you here, you can see the companies that blog generate 126% more leads than those that don't. So content does help you in that lead generation effort. Content does help you grow your business, right? This is a statistic. I will also show you a live example towards the end of the webinar, right? And then you can see that 61% of consumers buying decisions are influenced by custom content. So you can use your content marketing efforts effectively to influence the buying decisions of your target consumers, right? This is again something that we already know, right? Another thing, earned media, which is your content marketing efforts, right? It has a much better long-term impact as compared to paid and owned media, right? For those of you new to digital, you can see owned media is whatever you own on the web, your website, your landing pages, your Facebook pages, social media profiles, right? Paid media is your ads, earned media is your content marketing efforts, all your social sharing efforts, activation of influencers. So you can see that earned media, the impact over time, it's something that is a little slow to pick up, but it's sustainable, right? Unlike paid media, where you can see it spikes when you run an ad campaign and then drops. Every time you run an ad, it will spike and then it will drop. Earned media, which is your content marketing efforts, is something that is long-term. It grows slowly, steadily, but it does give you a sustained long-term impact, right? So we've seen how content is king, content marketing produces results, also how it has a sustained long-term impact. Another thing that works in favor of content marketing these days is that you can see the statistic here. 71% of Indian youth feel that they're being bombarded with ads all across the place, right? Most of them don't even want to see ads. In fact, I'm sure using ad blockers. I don't know how many of us, but I'm sure a fair bit of us, maybe some of us in the session also are using ad blockers. So we don't want to see ads. How do we reach that audience which is using ad blocking? Through our content marketing efforts, right? They would obviously want to read content that is useful to them, content that they find interesting, entertaining, inspiring, engaging, right? Here's another statistic for you guys. That's a staggering number, right? It's all over the screen. You can see it. It's 27 million pieces of content are shared every day, right? 27 million pieces. Okay, that's a lot. That's every second that I'm talking to you here, the number of pieces are increasing at an unimaginable pace. Okay, so we know content is king. So much content being shared every day. So basically you have too many kings out there. So much content. With all this crowd out there, how do you make yourself stand out? How do you cut through the clutter? How do you make yourself stand apart from the crowd? Right? This is how we'll go into each of these one by one today. We'll first cover how we can create, which we've already defined, is content that is 10 times better than any other content on that topic on the, and then we'll move into, let's go into it one by one. Right, so let's dive into creating 10x content to begin with. Okay, so this, I'm going to give you a process on how can you create 10x content. And it's a small 3-step process. Let me right from scratch. How do you create content that is 10x? So the first step here, as it says there, is to read your audience minds. Right? Find out what your audience really wants. This is going to be different from brand to brand, business to business. Different business persona. So you need to define your audience profile and persona. The first step when you craft a digital strategy is to find out who your audience is and drop their questions. This audience of more, would they find useful? What kind of content would they find valuable? What kind of content would they find? What kind of questions they're looking for answers to in their minds? Right? How do you figure this out? Right? You need to use some tools. You can't, we don't know what's going on in people's minds, right? We have to use digital strategies and tools to figure out what's happening. So here are some tools and platforms you can use. You can use Quora. All of us are not sure, because Quora is a platform where people keep asking questions and you have people who answer them as well. So you can figure out on all these question answer platforms like Quora, Yahoo Answers, Reddit, all pretty much the same stuff. Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups help as well. Right? You know, people are there discussing a certain topic. Go and see what are they discussing? What are the questions? There are any questions that a lot of people are asking enough yet, which you can answer in much more detail based on your expertise in the industry or the category or on that topic, right? Another place is to go to popular blog, see what people are asking. So you have blog posts, popular ones always have comments on them. Go and see what are people commenting, what are people saying, figure out what they have on their mind. Use industry forums, discussion boards also you can use for the same. Free tools you can use for content marketing. Just kidding, right? So this is how you do your research on what topic you should cover in your content. That's step one. Step two is once you've already finalized on your set of topics, next is to research your topic, right? Research your topic, do a complete comparative analysis, okay, and find the most successful content there. Basically what you want to do is you want to find what is already the successful content in the space. How do you find what's successful? One way is to run a Google search for different keyword variations. So let's say we saw somebody asking a question here, what are the best tools? And we said, okay, let's do a blog post on content marketing tools. And then we go and plug this into Google search. You'll automatically find out what is the best performing content on the topic. Obviously, because Google always ranks the best content. If your content is excellent and it is linked to by a lot of people, that's when you'll rank on Google. So figure out what are the different keyword variations, what is the top content, make a list of all the top content you find, top blogs you find. And then another tool you can use apart from your basic Google search is a tool like BuzzSumo. I'm not sure how many of you heard of this tool, but it's a wonderful tool for content marketing. It's free up to a certain level, up to a certain limit. Even the free version is is fairly amazing, awesome to use. So those of you who have not tried it out, an excellent tool for your content marketing efforts. So this tool, what does it do? It tells you what is the most shared content in the space, right? So if you look here, I've plugged the same keyword for sake of continuity. I've used the same keyword here, content marketing tools there in the search term, in the search box. And you can see it shows you all the content on content marketing tools that have been shared the most. If you see the second one there, the best content marketing tools for efficient marketers has 7,900 shares across social platforms. Now when content has been shared so much, it is obviously excellent content, right? It is obviously excellent content. Content that is shared, content that is ranking in Google here. This is how you find existing excellent content in the space. That's your step two. So I'll go back and repeat. Step one is to research, find out what topic you want to cover based on your target audience, based on what your audience wants. Step two, after you find your topic, is to find out what are the existing content pieces that are already covering the topic in a good manner, that are ranking on Google, that are being shared a lot. And step three is to go and make your content better than any other top content out there, right? You already figured out what is the most shared content, what is showing on top in Google search for that particular topic. Your job now is to ensure that your content that you create on that topic is much better than any other top content out there, right? It needs to be not just much better, but 10 times better than all the top content out there. How do you make that content 10x content? How do you write on that topic and make it 10x? So these are your four broad areas. One is make it longer, make it more detailed, make it more thorough. Take a look at all the existing blogs that you found, which are already good. Find out what's missing there. Right? Some blogs, for example, which are ranking in Google might not be long enough. They might not be detailed enough. They might not be thorough enough, might not be comprehensive enough. So what you do is you make it more comprehensive. Okay, the second thing to do is to ensure it's up to date. Some of these blogs there on the Google search might not really be up to date. They might have been written a year ago. Things might have changed. In the digital space particularly, things change every day. So you figure it out, make it more up to date. See what you can do to make it more up to date. Third point is to include better visuals, make it more visual. Add images, infographics, videos. And number 4 there is to ensure that your page loads fast and has an enhanced user experience. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to cover each of these points in detail. I'm going to go into each of these one by one. Okay, as I said, your content needs to be 10x times better than any other top content out there. So if this is your search results for content marketing tools, this is not what you should aim for. Your question is not going to be, okay, this is the best content, this is ranking 1 on Google. How do I make something like this so when I can rank 1? That's not what you should ask. That's not 10x content. 10x content, you need to ask, how can I make something 10 times better than any of these, right? Not just something as good as the first result, but something that is 10 times better than any content. This is exactly what 10x content means and is.